And welcome back to The Average White Guys. My name is Alex Haynes, and one of the owners of A Squared. We're a social media marketing group that helps people get noticed online and help them with their online marketing coaching needs. So if you want to know more, click one of the links below to find out. And I'm here with illustrious, good-looking, almost Santa Claus-like Justin Scouten. Say hi, Justin.
Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight? You must be talking about the gray beards that I have showing up more often.
Yeah, yes. Totally not talking about any of that Christmas color coming through the beard. I'm just saying, just kidding, folks. He does look illustrious as always. And I was really speaking toward the presents you give during this time of season. And today's very special for two reasons. If the audio sounds super odd, it's because our great, amazing producer went and got himself sick. And to the point where he's in a boot. He can't walk for like 2 weeks because he did something and it poked his foot and now it's super infected. So if you think the quality's not good today, blame him for getting sick. That's all I'm saying. But we just real quick, if you ever listen to this, you probably won't. To our producer, we love you, we appreciate you, and we 100% understand what you bring to the table, which is your skill set.
Yes. So thank you very much.
Very sorely missed right now because we're not recording this on our normal equipment, and you probably can tell. Anywho, the other reason this is super special, super fantastic. This is a one-off. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about Christmas since we are in the season of it.
'Tis the season for Christmas. This will actually come out the week of Christmas if I get it up correctly. Hopefully to our listeners who see this, normally I think we have them posting Monday morning of the week. So this will go out the Monday before the Christmas, but this is our Christmas special. So Merry Christmas all, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Am I missing anything? I don't want to be exclusive.
No, I think you know more of them than I do.
Okay, cool. So we missed something. I apologize. Let me know in a comment section somewhere what I missed so I can be better educated. But I'm going to just say Merry Christmas. Hopefully that's not going to offend anybody. But Merry Christmas, y'all.
Yes. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about maybe either some traditions and what it maybe means to us on Christmas and how it can affect your personalities, I think, sometimes too.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, just real quick, before we get too into this, this is something that's close and dear to my heart anytime we come to the holidays. And if you're listening to this and you're at a place where you just feel sad and you don't feel like tomorrow should come, I want you to stop listening to this and I want you to call the suicide hotline. During this time, a lot of people will give up because they feel alone. The thing is, you're not alone. There is someone out there who truly does care for you. Even if you don't have them in your life right now, someone will come along the way because we, by nature, love loving on people. We're a society of people who love to get together, so you don't have to feel alone. There are places you can go. There are people to talk to, but what I don't want to hear is that you gave up before your time. So if you are struggling, I do highly encourage you, call that 1-800 number that's out there.
Yeah. And that does feed into a little bit of what we were talking about beforehand. And that is, as much as I think most people appreciate Christmas, it does bring across a lot of emotions to certain people.
Yeah, it does. Good, bad, and everything in between.
And it can change each year. And I think we need to learn to accept that it can change each year, each decade, depending on the point that you are in your life. And one of the things we talked about was the grandeur of Christmas and how that can tend to change. I was asking you a little bit about like maybe your holidays and how you're feeling with it now. And you're saying, yeah, you feel like a little bit of a Grinch maybe in certain times of it. And so I asked a little bit more about that. And what I got from it was you are maybe missing your family and what it was like when you were younger with your family because you're not around them now. And I think what that ties into is that's the grandeur. Maybe that waking up on Christmas Day, opening that present from Santa, opening those gifts from the loved ones. Then maybe you have your breakfast or you have the family get together with lunch and snacks all day. That's how we kind of do ours. And it used to be where we'd all open one gift and this was a 4-hour whole presentation. As much as so much time it took, we'd love that it took 4 hours and each person watch each person open the gift. Instead of some traditions are you rip them all open and you're done in 10 minutes and that's what everybody loves as well. The point of that is, though, is we have these grandeurs of what it was. And I think we need to get over that at certain points. Accept it when you're in the moment. Love it when you're in the moment. But know that Christmas is about that season of hopefully giving to others, hopefully working with others to get that attitude up and make yourself feel better.
I think I 100% agree with that. And we had a conversation before we started, obviously, as we do, because we like to talk before our podcast actually goes live so we know what we're talking about. I did mention I'm kind of a Grinch, and some of my reasons why, not a Grinch to other people, but like I don't go out of the way to decorate. I prefer just consuming and enjoying, but not putting an effort to make it special, mostly because I don't feel like I can make it special enough. And this is where I'm going to focus on Christmas. But I want to talk to business owners in your first 5 years, and this is why we have the podcast. Now, unless you are really lucky, a lot of us in our first year of business didn't do well financially. Mm-hmm. And if you're in your first year of business and the pocketbook looks empty because you paid all your bills and there's not much left over, it's okay. And I'm speaking out of a place where that happened our first year. Our first year, we almost shut down. The only reason we didn't is we got a very last minute job, a very large last minute job that covered our whole year's expenses. Unheard of. I don't think we've ever had that happen again. And that was our Christmas miracle, and that kept us going. It paid all our post bills, paid all our credit cards back off, gave us an ability to go into our next year with a little bit of cash in our pocket. But that Christmas, I remember my present was I was cooking dinner. I bought the little bit of groceries I could buy, and I made us a nice dinner. I mean, we're talking about maybe $30, $40. And this was probably 20 years ago, which goes a lot farther than it does now. 2010, so we're 2000, so 14 years ago, not quite 20 years ago. That was what I could spend on Christmas, and I could feed 3 or 4 people, and that's what I did. And that was my gift. I couldn't give anything more than that. And I remember at the time apologizing to my business partner, and he goes, why? Why are you apologizing? It's like, because I couldn't give you what I wanted to. I couldn't give you what I think you deserve. And he smiled and laughed. He goes, but you didn't give up this year. You stuck by me through the hard times. We are successful as a business, whether you think we are or not, because we lasted a year. You know, I mean, people bet against us making it through 1 year. He goes, you have beat all their expectations. We won. I still don't think that because I didn't hit my numbers, because that's how I am. But he's like, no, you don't understand. We beat people. We won. We beat their expectations. We're going into the second year. He goes, you spent how many hours making this food? You didn't have to do that. You purposely did what you could. You used your talents. And those who don't know, I love to cook up a storm. I love cooking. I love cooking delicious food. I've been told my food tastes pretty darn good. I've had a couple text messages from people who didn't make it this year to Thanksgiving, apologizing because I missed your cooking. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Because they moved or they couldn't be there. I'm so sorry I missed it. I bet you had some really good food. So that's something I could do, and that's what I did. And I think this Christmas, if your checkbook's a little bit light, do what you can, and that's okay.
Yep. And then I also want to talk about one other aspect is if you do have employees, there's a couple different avenues that you need to look at there. Thankfully, the last couple of years, we've been able to give bonuses to our employees. But there's times when, especially if you're a new entrepreneur, maybe you get the first employee, you start to get 2 or 3, something like that, and things are still going to be tight for you. If you are not able to afford bonuses, because I think it's so well known in just the world that, at least in America, that employees tend to expect bonuses. Now, maybe I'm just looking at that in a different aspect. Maybe it's not expected, but I think that maybe goes back to the Christmas vacation.
I just want to point out that I have never gotten a Christmas bonus at any place I ever worked growing up. So this I didn't realize this was a thing until I started owning a business. People talked about, I got my Christmas bonus, or watched movies, and I literally went, "What's a Christmas bonus?" I don't understand.
So if you can't afford it, though, there are so many little things that you can do for your employees. At least take them out to dinner. Maybe you can have lunch with them. But I think the biggest thing about it is being honest with them and just letting them know, look, we do appreciate you. Here's a lunch. Here's something we're trying to do. We are looking forward to doing it next year. things like that.
Can I just go on record saying, anyone listening to this, I swear to whatever thing you believe exists, that if you do a pizza party, I will find you. Do not do that. Everyone knows that's a cop-out. I get it. If you're like, hey, we really can't afford it, then take the money that you're going to spend on the pizza and just give it to them. Give them the $40, the $50 you're going to spend, and let them figure out what they're going to do, and they can go have a nice meal without you. But I don't know why businesses start. I know why. It's cheap. You can get a couple, 5-6 pizzas for $100, and you feed, everyone gets a thin slice, and that's it. But don't do that. It's overplayed, overused, and it could do more harm than good.
Yeah.
What I think you said is really good, but when I think, hey, take someone out to lunch, and here's another thing. Don't take them to your restaurant, unless it's a really nice restaurant they would never be able to afford. Take them to their restaurant. Ask them what they would like.
Yeah.
Take them to their favorite place. Get to know your employee and then spoil them.
Yeah.
That's just my little insight to this. Not that I have a bunch of employees, but would you agree, Justin?
I would. Yeah, I mean, you're right. The average pizza party is not going to work. But when I'm saying take them out to a dinner or take them out to a lunch, this is go to a nicer sit-down restaurant at a place. And I liked your idea. Maybe ask them what they like. Take a census of the employees and say, hey, where do you guys want to go? Here's a little bit of our budget. My main point is to it, though, if you don't address it, that you are maybe struggling with the company, then I think it's going to be more harmful if somebody is expecting it and not get anything and you don't even talk about it.
No, I think that's very wise.
I think that's my point of it. Here's some other things you can do, though. We actually have Spirit Week in here, and it lasts all week.
So this is during Halloween?
No, actually we had Halloween Spirit Week this last year as well, but we have Christmas Spirit Week.
Oh, so you do a Christmas Spirit Week?
Yes.
Do you do an Easter Spirit Week or
Christmas and
so you just do Christmas, Halloween? Okay,
Christmas is the main one.
From someone who wasn't part of it, and to our listeners,
I was going to get to what we're doing now.
Okay, go hit us.
So what we did is each day was a theme. One day it was wear red and green. One day it was the ugly Christmas sweater or a T-shirt. Then it was wear trinkets, like maybe some of the girls wear earrings or some of them wear hats. And one of the employees here loves to wear black. She wears black every day. And she actually came in with a black Santa hat. It was the most awesome thing I've seen because I've never seen a black Santa hat.
But it was awesome.
It was just fun. And she even wrote Grinch on it or something like that as well, which was different. But it was fun. And we had, you can get coupons. We gave away a little prize at the end. And so every time they participated in it, they got a ticket. So this way it would go in a drawing for it at the end of the week. And we also gave tickets for everybody bringing in a little treat. So we had plenty of treats throughout here. And it was one of those, though, if you couldn't afford things, it's another way to have everybody participate with maybe what their favorite treat is. And so there's a lot of things you can do to get the morale up in here. We had puzzles. I hid snowballs, little like stuffed animal snowballs.
Oh, stuffed animal snowballs. Okay.
Yes. I hid them all throughout the office. And by the end of the day, they had to come in here and they had to give me a list of where they found them all. There was 15 of them. And they were hunting for like an hour, each one of them, throughout the office because I hid them in all these little intricate spots and stuff like that. And they had a blast. And I was like, well, you can't tell the next person because if whoever wins it gets the actual coupon, those type of things. Now, it's one of those things where I'm a little bit of a Grinch. When it comes to this, at first, like the week comes up to it, my wife is planning it all out. It's fun for her. She gets excited about it. I'm like, yeah, it's coming. Then I see everybody in the spirit of it. Then I get to hide the things. And then we have puzzles in here where you could put the puzzles together that are Christmas related. And all these things that add up to it. And I'm like, by the end of the week, I'm like so into the Christmas spirit. Again, I bring this up because if you are on a limited budget, there's a lot of things you can do with the office that you can get them into the spirit that lets them know, hey, look, we're trying to celebrate Christmas, what it is, bringing people together, having fun with it. And one time they came into the office and they ended up all working on this certain puzzle together for an hour. And as much as it's difficult for me to say, everybody just did nothing for an hour, we had a lot of fun. And so you need to look past those little things of everybody wasting an hour because it's not wasting if it builds a community.
I just want to be clear because I know some business owners thinking right now, oh, that's great for their lunch break. No, he's actually talking about they get their lunch and then there's an additional hour where they normally would get paid for work.
Yes.
They're not working, right?
Correct.
I just want to be very clear because I know
Very good thing.
somebody's
No, we're
going to
not.
hear that and go,
Take
"Oh,
your
this
lunch,
is a
do
great
whatever
idea."
you want for lunch. Yes. No, this is, and that's, again, little things you can do that will affect it.
Yeah, and I think those are some really great ideas, and I could see where the buy-in would be, especially when you have someone on your staff who can do some of the planning, like your wife. And to those who are like, man, I'm not great at coming up with plans, this is my favorite part of the conversation because I want to introduce you to something called AI. You know exactly where I was going to go with that. And now you can even call it. Did you see ChatGPT just announced a 1-800-CHAT-GTP? You can now call it from your phone and talk to it so it could come up with ideas and puzzles. You can go to the dollar store if you have a Dollar General or Five and Below or any of these places and get a bunch of stuff really cheap that could be fun. And I grew up, like one of the things I love about Christmas, I'm going to share a little thing I love about Christmas is, or actually New Year's, it's a New Year's thing, and we're going to do another thing about that. But usually Christmas or New Year's, my dad, we do something called the Haynes Olympics. My last name's Haynes, and we do the Haynes Olympics. The Haynes Olympics has nothing to do with physical activity. Okay, so my dad worked for the U.S. government, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So the stuff I grew up doing was like trying to break codes for fun, looking for mistakes in newsletters and papers, and like solving riddles and puzzles and like complex math equations, and like doing certain video games that have hand-eye coordination that are really difficult, or like we had air hockey and like the old school, it's called slap hockey, I think. If you guys know what that is, my dad had it growing up and it somehow existed in our house, but it's this wooden box like air hockey would be, but it's all wood. And you have a wooden puck, and you have these two plastic things. You slap it against the side and it bounce off, and you're trying to get into the goal. Yeah. It's like air hockey, but before electricity existed, right? And so we had something like that. We'd play that. Whoever get more points would win. End of the night, we'd rack up who got the most points, and they'd be the winner and lauded as the Olympic medalists, whatever. That would always be fun. And I thought everyone did that until like I started talking to kids when I was younger. I was like, oh, you guys don't do this? No, we open presents. Oh, that sounds so boring because it's how I grew up. So like I get like for someone who loves fun puzzles and riddles, I think this is a great thing because it reminds me of my childhood. But if you can't come up with stuff, there's tons of things you can go buy on Amazon. You can buy those murder mystery books. You could do like you could take an hour a day if you wanted to and do those scenes from like different puzzles and different packages you can buy and just have fun as a team. And not only is this going to be great for just morale, but talk about team building. If you stand back and watch everyone else play, you're going to learn a lot about interaction, about how people do stuff.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you bring up a couple different stories that way because we've done at the end of our Christmas week, we end up having our party. This week was more of a mundane Christmas party that we've had, but we've had some where we've actually taken everybody. We got a limo and we actually took them to a restaurant, and we had one time where we ended up going to the escape room and we all worked on that. And we've just made the Christmases a little bit different each year just to kind of keep things going. So that's for the office. And then my tradition for my wife at the house is for Christmas Eve is her night. She goes, I don't care when you guys get older, you guys have your families, I want Christmas Eve. It's kind of what she tells the kids. Because over the years, she's actually played games with them on Christmas Eve. One time she kind of did help Santa escape. And so there was all these puzzles that she had to do for the kids that night. And sometimes we've done scavenger hunts all across town where we actually, when they were younger, they had a place in their grandfather would take them to Safeway all the time to get a treat. So they got to know one of the ladies that ran the cash register. So we actually gave her a scavenger clue that we went through the line. And she goes, oh, hey, I've been waiting to give this to you. And they're like, how did you know we were coming? So, this is when they were 6 or 7, things like that. But there's some of these small little things that you can do that you don't have to spend a lot of money on, especially now with AI or just Googling it. There's so many things that you can do to make it so special for your family that doesn't take a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think let's talk about simple things that is tried and true. White elephant gifting. Yeah. That's a fun thing. Everyone brings their own stuff. That's not even going to cost you as a business owner a ton of money. Maybe you have a nicer thing to give everybody. You'd be surprised what a bottle of wine can cost. A good tasting bottle of wine, $10, $15. It doesn't have to be super expensive. And it's a little bit something you can give to an employee that's going to help motivate them and say thank you and that you cared. Because anything you give a gift to somebody, you had to spend time. And everyone recognized that. Think about when you get a gift, even if you don't like it, as long as it's like thought out, like I got this for you, people care. Now, I've seen businesses do this poorly though, where they cheap out and get them really bad stuff. Like, we got you a blanket, and I'm pretty sure I've seen toilet paper thicker than that blanket. We got you a mug, and it's branded with their stuff, and it's a cheap, crappy mug.
And at that point, that's where they would have rather have had the $20.
They would have rather had the $20, and they would like, just give us the $20 you totally spent on all these things, and we will split it. We will go out and we'll figure out how to we'll go bet on some horses or something. I don't know what they would have done, but I think I've seen businesses go the wrong way, where they pretended to care. We did something because we have to, but the results were almost a slap in the face. And I've seen it actually really hurt morale as well. So this was just a little bit of caution. I don't want to go too much into this because I think this goes back to culture, because I know the people that decided to make that change, and they were the problem children in that business and still are. And they have hijacked some of these things to do stuff they want to do that has nothing to do with the actual employees. And this is where, I think, Justin, you agree with me, as a business owner, as someone who I work with employees when I do big jobs, right? So we'll hire for very specific things, and then normally we run very, very lean. So it's a little bit different than you because you build relationships. But I've always been on the mindset that when you do something for an employee, it's for them, it's not for you. It's not because you want to look good. It's not because you want to beat your chest and said, I want an excuse to buy myself something. It's about saying thank you to them, because without them, let's face it, your business would not be where it's at.
Yeah. Take your ego out of it.
100%.
Yes.
It's not about you, it's about them. And this is, I've had people ask me like, well, how do we figure that out? And I've been like, the simplest thing. Have you tried asking?
Yep. I was just about to say, talk to them.
Have you talked to them?
Yeah.
Have you asked them? Like, I remember I worked with a company. We did a really cool job, and they called us to go, hey, we want to give you a little bit extra. We know we paid you, but we want to tip you. So we can either give you cash, or we have this thing we can give you, and it's like a gift basket, blah, blah, blah. What would you prefer? I was like, well, that's really cool. I know my business partner will take the cash. But the fact they even offered something else, like, hey, we thought maybe you might like a gift basket, or hey, we know you did this, because they asked me some questions before I started. I didn't understand why. And so they had a gift back option they picked out based on my answers before I ever did this job, in case they wanted to reward me or give me the cash equivalent. And I was like, wow, that's so forward thinking. That is impressive. I think that's a huge thing.
Yep. No. So, really, I think that's what Christmas should be about, is taking any ego out of it. And it's about not even the giving. I mean, Christmas is about giving, but it's not about giving gifts. It's about giving appreciation. It's about letting people know that, hey, thank you for what you've done for us over the year. And you just need to think outside the box sometimes when things are a little frugal, and figure out how to say that thank you. And I think what really comes into play when you were saying that is it's understanding them. And if that you are giving something where they know you've listened to them over that year, I think that really shows that, hey, what we talk about matters to you because you're listening.
Now, if you're listening to this is before we wrap up, and you're not an employer yet, maybe you're thinking about starting a business and you work for another company. Think about this. What is the business you're working for doing right? Take that with you. What are they doing wrong? How are you planning on fixing it the next time? The good news, if you haven't started a business yet, you're thinking about starting a business, because I don't really know who listens to our podcast yet. And maybe you're thinking about starting a business. You want to get ahead, and that's why you're listening to this podcast. The good thing is you work for a company, and they may be doing some things that are correct. Take that and run with it. And the things they're doing wrong, well, guess what? You just had a master class on what not to do. So learn from that and do better. from both me and Justin, we do want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays. I hope I'm not missing anything. We really appreciate everyone who's tuned into our podcast. The last couple of weeks we've had this out. We are putting it out, I think, regularly on Monday now. That's the hope. And we'd love for you to hit that follow and subscribe button. That would be a great Christmas gift for us if you're listening to this. We will have something out for the New Year as well, a New Year special, which is coming up here soon. Justin, is there anything you want to say before we close out?
Yeah, I'd say a nice Christmas gift to us, if you do appreciate this, is even just the comments. I'm always big on feedback. So if there's something that you're thinking that we might be able to improve on, please let us know. That would be huge for us.
Oh, or you want us to talk about? Oh my goodness, you have no idea how much time we literally sit around this table. We do a podcast and go, what are we going to talk about tonight? What do you think was going to help people? What do you think they want to know? Yeah. So we crave your feedback and love to hear from you, because you guys are the reason why we do this. We're hoping that we help somebody, just even one person. That's all we want to do. So we'd love to hear that feedback. Once again, thank you guys so much. We are
the Average White Guys.